The circuit knows everything about you, because they are you. It's Ascension Eve, and Jake Montana waits for the letter every 18-year-old receives on their birthday. It's the one from the circuit. It's the one that determines the rest of your life partner, job, home, and crucially, your importance factor, all selected for you. In the year 2054, your importance factor is everything, but it's not random. It's based on a detailed assessment of every thought, emotion, and memory you've ever stored in your memory cloud since the day you first received the implants. Your fate, the circuit insists, is always yours. It was impossible to tell how long his recuperation had lasted. The clock and date that usually sat in the corner of his cloud feed, a permanent way of encouraging him to be punctual, weren't acting with their normal level of precision. It was currently displaying Friday, the 32nd of March, 2036, at 4 o'clock in the morning. The daylight, creeping forlornly into the sparse storm, was just one piece of evidence to contradict the cloud's internal clock. The other was the symbolism of the false date. One day after Jake's original birthday, but a day that could only appear in calendars designed by dyslexics. It wasn't the only aspect of his memory cloud that was out of kilter. After the initial chaos ripped through his memory feed, immediately after the download, now there was almost nothing there at all. No adverts, no circuit broadcasts, and no past memories summoned to comfort him. He attempted to conjure one, but all it returned was a hazy half-memory that soon dissolved away again. It felt like his virtual world had been placed on standby. But was it temporary or permanent? An emotion tried to penetrate the curtain to suggest it was the former. Anger surged through him, a level of hostility he'd never experienced before, and it was aimed squarely at one group in particular, the Spectrum. It consumed all other instincts so totally he wanted to drag his body out of bed and immediately hunt one down. It didn't feel like a new impulse either. There was no question that he'd carried this deep-rooted disgust for them since birth. Jake eased his body up the hard, uncomfortable bed, and his aching limbs dampened his desire to fight. As usual, there was no one else in the dormitory. It was all too familiar on this island. There were plenty of beds lining the walls of Factory 8. The sheets and blankets had been made up perfectly, creased and tucked neatly over the edges like army standards demanded. Yet there was no luggage on the racks other than the ones they'd left for him, and there were no army supplies by the side of the beds. Folded neatly on his bedside table was a standard-issue uniform, boots, a wash kit, and a white helmet sporting a flimsy plastic visor. Jake rubbed his head to massage his memory feed back to normality. The excruciating pain that accompanied the download had mostly passed, but a throbbing sensation was still evident in the region of his head where he knew his implant was fitted. The only other pain was in his heart, but he couldn't place why it was there. It was the one sensation of loss, but the loss of what? Immediately after regaining consciousness following the download, the sense of loss had felt raw and recent, but now it was distant, and he cast doubt on its very existence. The door flew open and Major Holst marched menacingly down the line of beds towards him. Whatever Jake was missing as a result of his surgery, it certainly wasn't the memory of him.
"Montana, why are you still in bed?"
I just woke up.
"Give me 50.
Okay. I can transfer funds to your cloud," replied Jake, not entirely certain he understood the instruction.
"Yes, sir, Major Holst is the correct response, you snivelling little turd."
"He doesn't want credits," said Job, appearing for the first time this morning. Possibly a signal that his cloud was on the mend.
"He means press-ups."
"Oh."
"Make it 100,
said Holst.